to the
Well, down at
left.
the very bottom of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, to the left of the
Turn around,
cul-de-sac.
That's the retention pond.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, but there's about, from the retention pond, there's about 3
Oh, yeah.
houses.
Well,
And then there's a property that has been particularly bad.
Well, what it is when you come into the subdivision, the first lot on the left is a green space.
Right.
They didn't end up.
Yeah, it's right next to your house.
Right next to my house. The next lot, a bigger lot there, is another green space, which nobody really owns because they built on someone else's property. They built my house on someone else's property. I've been waiting for 2 years to get that resolved, with the title insurance company. Then there's a lot across the street, which is another green space where they have mailboxes, all in one area. Then you go down 2 houses that are built, and then there's a third lot, and it's really trash. If you're going down there right now, you'd be real proud of the city. Like I said, I'm coming up here tonight as a representative for a committee of members in the subdivision. All we're asking is for code enforcement for something that's reasonable. We've got houses, we put more money in that damn place than those builders did, or what they will put into it in the future. They built, they sell, they made money, and then they dump it on us. And all we're asking for is enforce the code. Make them clean it up for us.
Tom, we had accepted that subdivision, right?
I believe so, yeah. What's the name of the subdivision?
No, it's, yeah, Village Fest. No, Village Fest is the street, I think it's Lakewood Village.
Oh, Lakewood.
Check. All right, here's something here, just the public net thing showing the transfers of property. The others are copies of my 3 letters that were sent in there. And this is a copy of Glacier Bay, that says LLC. That's supposed to be over that property now.
I've been trying to do both on here.
Okay, the procedure right now, if I'm right, is, Chief, what is your responsibilities having to do with code enforcement?
We only write citations after code enforcement finds a violation.
Okay, so it's all really done City Hall, is that correct?
The complaints are sent to Tracy, who then sends it to Tarsha from the code enforcement. She goes out and makes the inspection, and she lets Tracy know what's going on. And then Tracy sends out a letter to the property owner. And after the 30 days passes by, the code enforcement goes back out there. And if there's no improvement, then they summon us out there to issue a citation. Because we can't actually go and inspect a property as a law enforcement officer because it's without a search warrant.
How far are we in that process on that particular piece of property and the flood?
The initial review by code enforcement was done, I think, in the last part of December, first part of January. And we sent out the 30-day notice letters. And once the 30 days is up, then they will go back out to see if there's been any improvements.
Well, let me ask a question here on this whole process. You know, we're dealing with these individuals going back and forth, maybe telling them they need to do something, and then they sell it. It goes to someone else, and they now say responsibility. I think what's going to ultimately happen here, at least I'm taking a little pessimistic approach to it, is the builder's going to get the hell out of there. Excuse me, the builder's going to get out of there, and then we're going to be forced with a dummy corporation. And we're going to get a lot from it. They're going to say, go out there and clean it yourself. You know, I think they should be held accountable for the mess that's down there, not the citizens that are paying taxes and living there.
Totally agree.
I think you have a legitimate complaint, and I think it's also exposed a serious flaw in our current code enforcement system, because this didn't ever happen when we had Randy Gordon. Randy handled, Randy would take care of things like this, and I don't think we're getting the same action out of Hal and the crew. At least it's not evident right here in this situation, and it's prone to repeat itself if we don't do something about it. So
now, I wonder if the lots were reversed and the one that we're really complaining about, right there by the side of the street on Jefferson, I wonder how long that would go on if it was there, as opposed to being down in the subdivision.
Can you speak to the receipt and the action and your knowledge of the situation, or?
Well, I remember, when Michelle was there here, that, Mr. Winchester sent lettering, and Michelle did talk to code enforcement, and they did go out, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but it was sold a couple of weeks, probably after that, after my letter, probably 3 weeks later, and that being the case, they probably just washed their hands of it and said, we don't own it anymore.
But, and I'm in agreement with him. This has been an ongoing thing. Actually, before I become council person, I was concerned with it also. And then I met George on several occasions myself, just here at the council meeting. I don't see why it hasn't been addressed properly myself. Because it's been an ongoing thing. Well, the retention pond's been a sore spot in my heart for 18 months before I even become a council person. And that's one of the reasons I thought that we needed, I wanted to run for things like what get done like this.
Well, we thought we had an HOA, but apparently we don't have one.
We talked about
Yeah,
that.
but in the covenant, they referred to the retention pond and everything else, and this was all part of, what the developer owned, okay? And the thing about the retention pond is, if it's not in compliance, that's why we were concerned in our first letter, and even since then, do you have any specific requirements for that retention pond? If you do, and we end up dealing with the dummy corporation, then you might as well just turn it over to all the people in there, if there's an HOA. Problem is, the way that thing is developed, the people that have come in after the first builder and the second builder, some of them are paying an HOA fee, some are not. We haven't heard a word once since we moved in the first group of four people. We haven't paid anything into the HOA since then. I was told by the CEO, COO, CFO, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, Matt Richardson, of Bear Creek Properties, he was general manager or manager for Bear Creek Properties, and he was those representatives or those offices on the HOA. I talked to him about it. He said, we don't have an HOA any longer. It's not existent right now. And he said, you can think about forming a new one if you want to, or you can form a new one if you want to. He told me this last April.
Now, typically, homeowners associations.
So, if there's an HOA now, I suppose you're going to rely on the HOA to do it?
Typically, homeowners associations are empowered at the time that the subdivision is completed. Is that correct?
Well, if that's the case, then there won't be one, because there's people that aren't going to join it if they have one.
No, I'm not talking about joining, I'm talking about the actual structures.
Oh, yeah. The buildings are set up.
And the homeowners association, Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong, basically they're at some particular point, the builder no longer is responsible for the subdivision, and that's when the homeowners association takes over.
Yeah, we couldn't get them to do much in there at all. That's why I ended up doing things. But the thing about the homeowners association, the Georgia Builders Association, they got structured the bylaws for it. If you're a builder, you have one lot, and you're a builder, you get 3 votes. If you're a homeowner, you get 1. So there was no voting that would do any good if we wanted to bring it to.
Well, there's only one lot available still?
There's only one lot available at this time that we know of. I think one
And
is.
so you actually still outnumber.
But then you still, if you want to make any changes to the bylaws or do anything in there, you have to have it approved by both classes.
The problem is that we need to fix the things that the city can fix.
Yeah.
We don't have the authority over homeowners.
No, we don't really expect that. That's not the issue. The issue.
Well, what we want to do is deal with that lot
Yeah.
and the
Area down by the
and the
cul-de-sac.
retention pond.
Yeah.
And we don't need to kind of continue a general discussion about homeowners associations and stuff. We need to talk about the retention pond and that piece of property.
Right.
What I would like to see is the city to have a particular. See, the problem is that I've asked about it, Eddie's asked about it, you've asked about it, and we're not. And each time somebody actually says, "Yeah, don't worry," I know like, the current owner says, yeah, we're taking care of it, and then we just go, okay, he's taking care of it. What we have to do is set up a particular so that every 2 weeks, and if you would do this for me, Mike, where we will actually, and you or the chief, whoever's responsible for it, and literally every 2 weeks, we need to have somebody look at it again so that it doesn't fall between the cracks. And so that's what I want done. Yeah. And I've also, Chief and if you can look at that greenhouse on Railroad Street and 7th, it has had the plate glass windows smashed out of it, and we have talked about it, and nobody's doing anything with it. Or somebody might be doing something, but I'm not seeing it, so I apologize if I'm overstepping. But, so does that satisfy you? And so we will continue to follow?
We asked for a response in our letters, and
Okay.
we never even heard anything back, we're looking into it or anything else, and it's, we just want something done.
Make that Make that follow up, one of us will do it. I mean, one of mine.
I would like your phone number at the end of the meeting. We'll talk. If we can get that going, let's find out what's going on. And we can't let it fall through the cracks, just like with that greenhouse on Railroad Street. We've got to get that resolved.
There are declarations, they were not filed until December of 2016, and there were lots of them that were sold before that. So without going through every document on the first cooperative, I can't tell you whether those lots that were sold prior to the filing of the declarations agreed to them. So it's very possible that there's not a HOA down there.
Oh, I'm sure there's not right now. You have to have elections and all that other stuff, but you still have to get past the selling of that piece of property, don't we?
Well, typically the declarations are going to be filed before the first lot is sold. That clearly wasn't done.
One other thing that just for the future, I send this in when I have to, but I went over to Barrow County, to the tax office over there, and asked them what their procedures were for record retention bonds. And they have something where they have them take out a bond or something, and when they're building in a subdivision, when they get close to getting ready to get out of it, they have to notify the county comes out and they inspect it, make sure that retention pond is in compliance with their requirements. When I talked to people down there, I asked him, he asked me where I live, and I told him, he said, we don't cover the city. And so I asked him, do you know if the city has the same kind of thing? He said, I don't know, whatever the city has. So, I mean, you may want to think about something like that, where something that's really not what a homeowner expects to do. We buy, but we got to build a retention line out of our own money. Someone's going to build within the city limits, maybe we should be required to make sure that that's certified and in compliance before they're able to check out.
Joe,
Yes.
I'm under this problem coming up a good while back. I took my tractor over there
Yeah, I know.
and helped you clean up.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And the only reason it's not cleaned up more in that little area there is I'm still dealing with an encroachment issue because it screw up on, when they cut out the land. My property was built on someone else's land.
Before then, I had the prisoners come down there and do some cleaning up.
And we did that one
And
time.
then, guess what? I got chewed out big time.
And that's why I figured the only way it was gonna get done is if I did it, and I've probably done it the last 8 or 9 times for all the green areas besides my own property. And the rest of the people in the subdivision just thank me for it, and that's about it. And I don't mind doing it. 'Cause I got a right.
The problem with the green spaces is that they don't belong to the city.
No, I know that.
Yeah, we can't, we're not supposed to mow
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, when you're where my house is, where I've got a green space lot on one side, a green space
Sure.
lot on the other side, and one across the street, which is why I bought the house,
Sure.
for separation and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, I'll clean it up if I have to. But,
I don't know. I'll get on this and make sure we take care of it. Thomas, what do we need to do to get that thing cleared out so we can get our crew down and work on it?
Well, if the city doesn't own it, the city forces don't need to be working
Pardon?
on it. I said if the city doesn't own it, the city forces aren't supposed to be working on
I know,
it. If you,
but sometimes you do what you ain't supposed to do.
they need to assign it, that becomes the city's responsibility.
Isn't there a provision where the city can then bill that back to the taxpayer on that property so that that cleanup can be done and charged off to that property?
We're not supposed to get involved in running lawnmowers and.
I'm not talking about lawnmowers, I'm talking about the debris and the leftover code violations
If
that
you're
are on
gonna
the
do that,
property.
you need to cite them first. They need to go to court, and then they need to not do it, and then you can do it.
Right, it's these process.
There is a solution.
Yes.
Yeah. Can
You want to work
Thomas,
through.
can you and I get together and as far as the legal requirements to make sure that happens? And once again, if it gets sold to a dummy corporation, we need to just start with them and that kind of stuff. We have to get it cleaned up, but once again, I want it tracked every 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
other business?
Do we have a need for executive session?
Yes.